Did you just give me the
And welcome, everybody, to the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here with you, as we are every Tuesday and Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m. live at Quaker Steak and Lube in State College. Chris Bucanani filling in for the traveling with the Penn State Wrestling team, Jeff, the Ironhead Byers, here with Keith Goon Conlin, former Penn State offensive lineman. Goon, how do you feel about Ohio State?
Well, winning the national title?
How do you feel about Ohio State's defensive coordinator, more specifically?
We're jumping right into that.
Let's do it. Let's rumor monger.
Is that what you want to turn our show into rumor mongering?
Well, it's at this point, I am going to say that I don't think it's rumor mongering because it has been reported by a reputable source. Okay, so I do not have. We are just sharing what has already been posted to these internets. Okay, we're not claiming this. We're sharing. This is from Greg House. You can follow him on X at Greg Z, as in Zeta House, and he's with Center County Report, which is a Penn State news outlet that I think does a really commendable job, probably better than some of the commercial media outlets around here locally in breaking and reporting news. And he is saying that Penn State is finalizing a deal with Ohio State defensive coordinator, the Pennsylvania native and St. Joe's Prep alum, Jim Knowles. And he says it is what you thought it was. This has been rumored since Tom Allen announced that he was moving on to take the Clemson job. Jim Knowles' name was immediately thrown onto a list of potential candidates. And you and we talked about it when I was in last week. I kind of scoffed at it.
Why? No. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. If this comes through, if Jim Knowles is hired as the defensive coordinator at Penn State, not only is it the best hire James Franklin could make, what it does is it takes all the enthusiasm, all the excitement, all the willingness of our donors and boosters to open their checkbooks, and it just pours jet fuel on it. So if James can pull this off, it is a coup among coups to bring Jim Knowles from the national champion Buckeyes to Happy Valley.
How long was he there?
I want to say this was his third year because I think he came in with Manny Diaz, actually. They were hired within a couple of weeks of each other.
He was at Oklahoma State, and then they've gone downhill since he left. So,
I mean, he actually got Oklahoma State played defense under Jim Knowles in the Big 12. Yeah, you go back and you look at the Cowboys' defense when Jim Knowles was there. Their stats are great. That was a tough, hard-nosed defense, and what he's done at Ohio State, including against Penn State, speaks for itself.
I sort of have to think that there was a falling out between him and Ryan Day, that he's going to make with the numbers being thrown around, this is no longer a lateral move.
Correct.
Lateral move in the sense that it's from the Division I power to another Division I power.
Since we're rumor mongering here live from Quaker Steak and Lube.
Not one, not two, but one less than four.
Yeah.
Less than 4
million
over 2.
Yeah.
So
which I love.
We can only sit here and say that there must be an issue at Ohio State that he would want to leave. As just won a national title, his defense was absolutely outstanding in the playoff run. Amazing during the playoff run.
Probably the only defensive coach who effectively took Tyler Warren away all game long, all season long.
He did. And, put a lot of pressure. I mean, he had some players in that defense. And, we have to say what, there was mentions that him and LJ did not get along earlier in the season.
We talked about that last week.
And that, Larry was a 4-down line guy, and that's how he wanted to bring pressure, where, Knowles he has a position called the Joker, which has been one of their absolute stud defensive players throughout the years. Yep. He'd rotate him around like we did with Abdul, the Cowboys.
I was thinking about this. If that concept existed in the late 90s, would LeVar Arrington have played that role at Penn State?
I'm sure. I mean,
he kind of did already.
Dude, I'm not going to lie to you. This actually, I was not here for it.
Yeah.
I was told a rumor that they wanted to get LeVar on the field so bad that they were looking for positions for him to play, that they actually had him at safety for a couple practices.
At his size, he was still athletic enough to play safety. I think he could have done it.
Literally playing downhill, and he was getting thrown over. He was playing to run a little too
aggressively.
Yeah, aggressively.
All right, gotcha.
He was a Brian Dawkins, Sean Taylor type out there. No, but that's what I had heard that, and I always thought that was funny. That you got to get your aces into places, and we had a pretty good defensive team
Yeah, I don't want to derail the conversation about the
Gino Capone out, obviously.
Right. I don't want to derail the conversation about defensive coordinator. Just tuning in.
Yep.
Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We're live on 98.7 The Fox as well as online. We're at Quaker Steak and Lube in State College. And the rumors are flying. It's been reported by Center County Report. I have been hearing these rumblings get louder and louder all week that James Franklin's pretty close to pulling off a major coup and closing the deal with Jim Knowles. Probably Goon, again, like for my money, I think he's probably considered the premier defensive coordinator in the country.
In the last 6 weeks, obviously, yes.
I mean, obviously he did well with the best money or the best roster money could buy. Yeah.
34-0.
Yes.
Is what he held Oregon to. And we had just played Oregon 2 weeks before that.
And not done well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know that they're the man can coach defense.
The best roster money could buy.
There, though.
But again, very similar results at Oklahoma State, where the talent level is appreciably lower in a conference where all the teams are typically allergic to playing defense. Ugh. So, this is such a statement hire. If they can finish it off, we're going to keep watching the internets all throughout the broadcast. Maybe we can make it official.
I cannot believe you called it X. I think Twitter's going to go down as one of those things like, hey, go to the Xerox machine, even though it's a...
Yeah.
I mean, Twitter will always be Twitter. I don't care that it's called X or not.
I try to alternate.
You said X, and I was like, that's the first time I've actually heard it.
I try to alternate.
X, formerly
Twitter, Twitter/X.
Printed.
So to go back to your point about why does he make the move now? Your point about the maybe not quite a hand in glove fit working with Larry Johnson. There have been rumors that it's the same deal with Ryan Day. I mean, look, that's one of the reasons I think why it was a mutual parting of the ways with Tom Allen.
Yeah, but if Ohio State says, Jim, we'll match $3 million, he's not going to, right?
Unless he's ready to go. I mean, the other thing too, with guys in that profession, I have noticed. And I mean, I don't understand it. The most legendary example of this is Larry Brown, the basketball coach. Some coaches just go from place to place.
Rick Pitino.
Yeah.
He's in like his 75th place right now.
I took
I saw he was coaching St. John's there and said, when that happened?
Mm-hmm. I took a kinesiology course at Penn State all about coaching. And
who was the instructor?
It was Bob Krimmel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so there was a unit.
I had Russ Rose.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's good.
Ethics of coaching.
No shade on Bob. I love
ethics of coaching with Russ.
That's what it was.
Rose.
Ethics of coaching. Yes. Yeah. No shade on Bob. I love Bob, but man, to take that with Russ Rose would have been amazing.
It was awesome, and he had me come back and speak. Anytime he teaches, I come in and speak to his class once a semester.
Is that right?
Yep.
That's awesome. Did you do did you guys do like the little section on like the different styles of coaching and talk about the Rolling Stone coach? And it was just the guy who goes from place to place. Just that's their by nature. They don't stick around in any one spot. And actually, I used Larry Brown in my class as my example of a Rolling Stone coach. If it's not a perfect fit and you feel like you've accomplished everything you set out to do when you got there, which is to win a ring, and he did, maybe you're just looking for another challenge, a Pennsylvania guy, and you just think, man, some people are wired up that when they accomplish one thing, they're immediately looking for the next challenge. And if the money's really good and you don't feel like the personality fit is 100%, then, maybe you just look at it and say, hey, look, I've done it here. I've done it. Now I want to go and I want to help get Ryan Day over the hump. Now I want to go help James Franklin do it. Think about, that's sort of like, that's the Theo Epstein thing, right? If you could get the Red Sox and the Cubs into a World Series ring, then you're in a totally different stratosphere. And if you're going to get paid $3 million to do it.
About that one, buddy. And that's the thing. It's like people are, is it a money thing or is it just like, was it time to move on? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think, but
you have to believe
I'm not
a combination
of
factors.
This. You're
also, man, doesn't it? It probably feels good. It probably feels good to be wanted, right?
When a man walks in a room and he just won a national title, he's going to sit there and say, "This is what you're doing." Looks like the water boy when the other coach flashes his rings at the defense. Hey, flashes his national title rings. You're going to go out and do what he says. Yeah, the guy is instantly going to walk in with a lot of respect on his name, and people are going to respect him. So good for him. Great for James. Great job for Pat Kraft opening up the purse. I mean, if this is happening, obviously.
Yeah. So
we have our top guy Alan on the X right now.
I'm waiting to get a reputable source to be a second source beyond Center County Report. There's a lot of talk about it. It looks like it's trending in this direction. I put some feelers out right before we got on the air, and it looks like it's moving this way. But going back to why would he leave? Apparently, Goon, one of the things that has held up the works here is that Oklahoma and Brent Venables really wanted to bring him in as well. Rumor is that I don't know this for sure. I was told his wife is an Oklahoma native. He's already familiar, obviously with the recruiting trail and the area from having been at Oklahoma State as well. So the rumor was that Oklahoma and Penn State were basically engaged in a bidding/recruiting war for Jim Knowles' services. So it seems like he was not going to be at Ohio State for another season regardless. The question was, did James Franklin get it over the finish line? And that's what we're waiting to have confirmed.
My God. I sent one out to a source. Alan Weiser.
Yes.
Very well-known guy in the circuit right
Absolutely.
now. So he's got his nose to the grindstone right now. He's working on it for us. He's going to get it done. Oh, it's a home run higher if that's the case, man.
It is. I mean, it's a grand slam home run in the bottom of the ninth to win the World Series higher.
If you said his name, I was going to punch you. You know what name I'm talking about? Home run in the.
No, no, I'm never. Are you kidding me?
I'm just saying.
Thanks for bringing that up. See, my brain wouldn't have even gone there. That's gross. Thanks so much.
Who made the call?
If you're out there, you know. I don't know. Let's stop talking about it. The Eagles are in the NFC Championship game this weekend. I don't need to have any other bad memories. Which we are. We're going to talk about the conference championship games. But to me, look, we're in Happy Valley. This is primarily a Penn State show. This is the biggest story.
Were you at the coffee shop before?
I was. Yeah, statecollegecoffee.com.
Woo.
This is the biggest story for Penn State football in terms of hiring.
Last week, all the offense is coming back. A lot of the defense is coming back. And then now we're talking about one of the top defensive coordinators. And I feel as if Eddie Kotelnicki is one of the top offensive coordinators out there.
Now, how about this? This is going to be the next 8 months and the season to follow are going to be a masterclass in handling pressure for everyone around this football team, because the excitement and the enthusiasm is going to be off the charts. The pressure to win, I think, is going to be unbelievable because this is it. This is your shot.
I have a request.
Go for it.
CL Ohio State lost 2 games this year, and yes, there was panic, but it wasn't over. Like, people need to realize that is a new playoff system.
When they lost to Michigan, it was over for a lot of people.
A lot of people. They wanted them gone, even to the point where I even heard, even if he wins the national title, he still needs to go.
I mean, those people are idiots. That's absurd.
People.
Yeah. Can you imagine caring about any? I understand it's a rivalry, but imagine elevating a regular season rivalry game over a national championship where you beat Notre Dame and Texas and Oregon on the way to get there. Like, that's ludicrous. I don't take those people seriously.
People are not the ones who went to Ohio State. They are just like
they're Ohioans who don't want to root for the Bengals and Browns.
People.
Yeah.
Cleveland are the good people of Ohio, by the way.
I know you've got a rooting interest there for sure.
No, not just
a bias.
No, I know a bias, but I know a lot of people from up there. Well, who were the Kelsey boys from?
Yeah, I mean,
they're good people up there. Rest of Ohio, I've said before, they all have the social skills of goats. It's just like, wow, what? Yeah, it's very, very. They're ornery. They're ornery people, flatlanders.
Penn State though has done very, very well recruiting out of Ohio over the years.
We needed to do more. I mean, listen, I'm a true and through Pennsylvania football guy,
same.
But I am going to tell you, Ohio football is pretty damn good.
Sure,
if not better than Pennsylvania, because we've had a lot of leakage. I mean, Western Pennsylvania has gone down a whole bunch in the football world.
Unfortunately.
Well, I mean, with the economy going away and stuff like that, so people and family moves away. I mean, it's on its way back up.
And there's always great talent there, but not like there was.
Eastern Pennsylvania football, me and you growing up, really never really bought that much.
Yeah, now it's
now that's where the dominant side of the state is coming from. Obviously, we're looking at the Philadelphia Eagles, not the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, you know how it is. No, but I'm saying Ohio has unbelievable. I mean, it's so similar to Pennsylvania. Huge wrestling, state. Yep. Love their football. Love their professional teams. It just works, and they're very much like us. And
going back to Jim Knowles, he's he's a Philly guy, and maybe there is something. Again, I also think about guys coming towards the end of their careers, because Jim Knowles is an older guy, does not want to be a head coach. I think, honestly, who he kind of reminds me of in both his kind of his style and where he is in his career and everything is Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
Who
I
is
thought you were going to go with Jimmy Johnson on me.
No.
The Eagles, no. Jimmy Johnson, not the Cowboys one.
Okay, I thought you were talking about Miami Hurricanes.
You were exactly right.
Yeah, and Vic has talked about how probably the Eagles, in all likelihood, is the last stop in his career. Been coaching for 40 years. Did we
not talk about this last week? How old Tom Allen was?
Yeah.
It's alarming.
Yeah, what is he, like 54?
Yeah.
And he looks like he's about 72?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Jim Knowles is older than Tom Allen, and so is Vic Fangio. Maybe there is just something for Jim Knowles that you look at it and you say, maybe this will be my last stop, because if I can do the Theo Epstein thing, if I could win 2 titles at 2 different places, help 2 head coaches get over the top, then maybe I'm ready to hang them up afterwards.
Your theory of the cold weather goes out the window now, because he's been in Ohio. He's from Philadelphia.
Hey,
so
man,
the cold weather. I got a phone call yesterday from somebody from Harrisburg saying, I was in State College this week, and I don't know how you do it. Is our weather that much different than Harrisburg?
You know what? I think this is just a bad sample size this week. I mean, it would be like going to New Orleans this week.
Just as cold in Destin, Florida.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'd be like being in New Orleans and be like, oh, I could never live here. There's too much snow.
Too much snow here.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Look, for $3 million a year, whoever coach's wife can get a hat and a Coke and have a Coke and a smile, because, like, if you're a Pennsylvania guy, you're thinking maybe this is my last stop. Maybe there is a little something extra to coming home and winning a title at the flagship program, right?
I completely agree.
Now, again, I keep talking about this like it's done. We don't have confirmation that it's done. So we're going to take a break here just so I can get back online. This happened to me 2 weeks ago on my show. Nick Singleton and Katron Allen both announced while I was on the air that they were coming back. So I had to just get to a break so I could confirm. Just for everybody's benefit, if you're tuning in here after we started, Jim Knowles.
Chris had 72 ounces
72 cups of coffee at the cheese shop. Check them out at statecollegecoffee.com. Jim Knowles, defensive coordinator of the Ohio State Buckeyes, rumored to be coming east to Penn State. So we're going to check into that. Maybe we'll have something to confirm in the next segment. Maybe we'll have it before we're off the air at 4 o'clock. It's the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show live at Quaker Steak and Lube here in State College on 98.7 The Fox. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing and State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
Get up and get going with the Happy Valleys 98.7 The Fox, the Goon and Ironhead.
Well, yeah, at least the Goon. No Ironhead. He's on the road with the wrestling team. You're tuned in to the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We're live on 98.7 The Fox here at Quaker Steak and Lube in State College. You often ask what?
The guy goes through life with the name of Ironhead.
Yes.
And he does a show the last 6-7 years with a mutant with a large dome.
Mm-hmm.
A little inferiority complex, do you think?
I do remember when you guys first started doing this, we got a comment on Facebook that said it should be called the Jeff and Giant Head show.
Exactly. I mean, he's probably got a little complex about the whole thing. Like, I'm Ironhead, and then all of a sudden I show up like looking like an orange on top of a toothpick, or maybe I'll say a fork. Yeah. A little thicker than.
There you go. Yeah. So at least we're not doing one of those shows where I'm sitting in between you and Tengwall, and I look like my dad and my uncle took me to a baseball game. Yeah.
A little slugger with your little baseball hat, cap.
Yes. No confirmation on the Jim Knowles thing, so we'll continue to monitor that throughout the afternoon. Let's move on to conference championship weekend, and I know Goon, you and I could probably talk about the Birds the entire time. I want to start with Chiefs Bills though, because I think that is, for football fans, a fascinating matchup. I got a call earlier today from my roommate, Mark Buffalo Bill Bryce, up there freezing his took us off in Orchard Park, New York. He is.
I wish the game was there.
He is on pins and needles already, man.
I loved the weather this past weekend at those games.
Actually,
on Sunday, it was amazing.
Before we talk about Bills Chiefs, let's talk about this.
Areas.
Yeah, no snow, 0% chance of precipitation in Philadelphia and in Kansas City.
All 4 teams are cold weather teams, so
yes, yeah, right.
Really wouldn't have mattered.
Have you been tracking any of the commentary this week about how some national talking heads don't like snow in the playoffs because they feel it's an equalizer that doesn't show off the best of both teams?
Are they from the SEC?
I mean, they're from ESPN, so they may as well be.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
That infuriates me, that kind of talk.
Like, we grew up and we played in it growing up, so all of a sudden that's not football anymore?
It drives me nuts. I mean, what was not to like about that divisional round game with Philly and the Rams last week?
The Eagles won. The talking heads weren't happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's it.
The LA wildfires, and what a great story that would have been.
I heard a lot of talk on ESPN. Oh, well, if there's no snow in that game, the Rams beat them by 2 touchdowns.
I will say this. If you watched 3 of the 4 games, and which game I'm not going to talk about when it comes to, they let the guys play in 3 of those 4 games.
Correct.
They let them play.
Yep.
There was a lot of hand play out there with defensive backs, especially in the Eagles game.
Which is, I think, is fine.
The footing is going so bad
absolutely.
that you're slipping and you're instantly going to like grab at something.
And everyone's playing in the same conditions.
And that's the thing. The issue I have with the NFL and NFL officiating is, but this is the thing. I just sat there at the end of the Eagles game, and I'm like, here it comes. It's 3rd down and 17 or 4th and 17. It's going to be like a 5-minute hold or chuck call, whatever the hell they used to call that, you know? And right. First down and this and that. And I'm sitting there, and they threw that pass, and everybody looked at the referees like, what are you going to do? Are you going to make a call here? No. They let them play from start to finish. Yep. This is the problem I have with the NFL and those Super Bowls. When the Bengals lost to the Rams, they let them play for 59
minutes.
Yep. And then at last minute, those referees and the referee who was for the Super Bowl this year, and he is the referee for the Super Bowl that's coming up. And that wasn't his call, obviously. He was just the referee making the loudspeaker announcement.
Sure.
But I loved how they let and then Buffalo was the same way. That was a very, very physical game.
Yeah.
A very physical game. And then Washington and Detroit was definitely a physical game, but I don't want to talk about, which we will get into, obviously, is the China doll that you're not allowed to touch in Kansas City.
Well, let's do that. Let's circle
insane,
back to the AFC title game.
But what I'm saying is I was excited, and I'm very happy, and it better continue. Because all I could think about was, you know how some people, the conspiracy theorists, I mean, we're all them right now, and in the last, 15 years, everybody's LA wildfires. Oh, my God, wouldn't it be great if the LA Rams go to the Super Bowl? And all the wildfire stuff that's going on in LA. That would be the talk of the town for the next 3 weeks. And all I had that was in my head, and I'm just sitting there watching them go down the field, and I'm like, here it comes. They're going to throw a late touchdown pass, and then Eagles kicker Elliott's going to be the GOAT because he missed 2 extra points. They're going to lose by a point. I just saw it happening, but I got to give them.
I was sick to my stomach.
Happen. The referees let them play, and they did not insert themselves into the play. Same thing with Buffalo and Baltimore. There was pretty crappy environment up there that on Sunday night.
Yeah,
I mean, they let them play, and it was a horribly physical game. It was a very physical game, very. And then Saturday night.
Well, those are 2 naturally physical. I mean, that's the style of ball both those teams play. Yeah,
and then you have the I-95 battle coming up this weekend. I mean, I don't know if that is. Washington's run defense is the worst in the league. We'll get into it now.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that.
All right.
I want to get into. I am so sick and tired. I saw a video today of Rob Gronkowski complaining about how Patrick Mahomes gets all these calls and this and that, and then you just have to take a step back, and you're like, as Dr. Powers said,
Rob,
whoa,
isn't that terrible? A quarterback gets the benefit of all these soft calls.
Rob Gronkowski has the audacity to complain about quarterbacks getting special treatment out there
when
he was getting passes thrown to him by Tom Brady for a decade.
Brutal.
He wasn't complaining then, but that's the only way you beat Tom Brady was getting physical, and that's why he lost those 3 Super Bowls, because the defensive line could put pressure on him. You could not blitz him. And I think that Patrick Mahomes is the same way.
Well, that's what frustrates me about all the soft calls he gets. They don't need him. He doesn't need them. And it cheapens the quality of your product when you do it, because you make it so obvious that everyone sees it. Everyone sees it.
Yep.
And you don't need to do it.
He's now embellishing. I told Ironhead
he absolutely is embellishing.
I told Ironhead the other day, and then you could see Josh Allen starting to get that way too. And it's getting a little infuriating, because there's a guy I'll go back to the old school, Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky was 104 pounds soaking wet.
Right.
He would get hit and clubbed around in this and that, but he was so fast he could get around.
Yeah.
Mario Lemieux was so fast, but he was so freaking big that people just hacked on him. And they ended his career like that. So,
I was listening to you guys, and you said the same thing.
If we get to the point where we start calling, you know what? Okay, we're going to give you a late hit call, but you know what? You're embellishing.
Yeah, I heard you say that. I had actually said that to a friend of mine earlier in the week. I was like, this is never going to happen in football. But, because that's not what they want. They want to maximize scoring. They want to protect quarterbacks. They want to highlight superstars.
But if they're going to roll around, that's okay. If you get hit, if it's the double hit on the quarterback, when the two Texans hit each other.
Yeah.
That's not. I mean, can we not go back and review that and be like,
well,
hey,
we review everything else.
I know.
Why can't you do a spot review on that? And I would love to see. And really, the NHL is the only hockey. Pro hockey is the sport for purist fans. The fact that they have a penalty for embellishment, I think, is so great. I don't think the NFL would ever do it.
Penguins penalty. That's what they call it.
Here's the problem. You look at the subjectivity and the number of bad decisions made by NFL officials already. Would you want to add another totally subjective penalty? I don't know that I would.
No. But there is that call.
But it drives me nuts.
New York calls in and buzzes in. But, I mean, can we not, again, at least have that? Because one of the referees has got to come in and say, yo, he did not get hit. He's rolling around like he just got shot by a 12 gauge. And I can't stand it. It's soccer. It's LeBron James type basketball, and it just absolutely drives me completely crazy.
Like Will Howard when he got lit up, probably a penalty.
It was a penalty,
but then he went limp at the end.
There on the ground.
I was like, dude, you're trying too hard.
Yeah,
you're doing too much,
man.
As the kids would say.
And then have a penalty for that. Just say embellishing. It's not going to put the not the quarterbacks are not going to get hit more than. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're still. You can see a change in football right now, and they also need to make a call if you're going to fake slide and then make a move like the Kenny Pickett move, like I talked about Tuesday with Jeff.
Yeah,
the Kenny Pickett a college move where he fakes like he's going to slide and he makes a juke and he runs for a 50-yard touchdown. That you can't do that.
Do you know what I think they should do?
And eat it too.
Get rid of the quarterback slide. Just look. If you want to be a ball carrier, you're going to get hit like a ball carrier. You don't want to get hit, then don't be a ball carrier. Period.
They can't afford to keep losing quarterbacks. That is
fine.
The league.
Then you stay in the pocket, you throw the ball away, or you run with the ball and you incur the same risk as every other player who has to be a ball carrier.
Once you start running the ball past the line of scrimmage, you are now a running back, a runner. And that's the thing about like Lamar Jackson.
This is by the way, all pie in the sky nonsense. None of this is going to happen, just so we're clear.
I don't know, man. It's getting to the point where the whole country is complaining about the Chiefs and the treatment that they get.
Do you think that the scrutiny on it?
The ex-Twitter picture, the chefs. Yeah, that looks great, but who are the chefs?
Yeah, who are the chefs? Yeah,
it says refs.
Who are the Yeah, I love it. That's actually really great. No, I have not seen that. Do you think it's gotten to the point where the scrutiny this week has been so intense and the criticism so loud that it might affect the way the game gets called on Sunday?
It's going to be in the referees' heads.
I do too.
Truly, truly believe it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And then, it's like the Super Bowl when we're watching the Eagles play right now. Remember 2 years ago with the tush push? Whenever you say it's got to be outlawed, it's got to be outlawed. And all of a sudden they're like, they would say Jason Kelsey's hand was offside. And the referees are doing everything they can to try and make them stop doing the tush push.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the way a referee can manipulate the game. But if the referee, it's just the pretty boy Patrick Mahomes is good enough already. You don't need just like
his whole team's good enough. They don't need any advantages, extra help. So here's a storyline I am tracking going into the AFC Championship, Goon. I was talking about this a lot on the radio yesterday. You realize that the Bills traded out of their spot in the first round when they entered the draft as the most wide receiver needy team in the league. And they let their arch rival, the Kansas City Chiefs, select Xavier Worthy, who ran a 4.2 40 at the combine. And you let Andy Reid, the head coach of the team that has tortured you in the postseason for years, get his hands on a guy who can move as well or even faster than Tyreek Hill. What are you doing? If that guy breaks a big play in the AFC title game, if I'm a Bills fan, I can never, I'll never get over it. I'll never forgive my front office for letting that happen.
I'll give it up to McDermott, man. He cleaned the defensive back room out last year.
Mm-hmm.
He cleaned it out. They got rid of 2 All-Pros, 3 of the 4 starters on that defensive backfield, and that's to come back in 1 year.
Well, part of that is when you re-sign your star quarterback to his big deal, you lose the flexibility to have a lot of other superstars.
Russell Wilson syndrome.
But you know what? That's okay. Like, that is okay if you can do what Buffalo has done, which is restock your roster with cheap, good talent.
I did see this, that Damar Hamlin's up for Comeback Player of the Year. And I'm like, well, why is the award not named after him? The award should be the Damar Hamlin Comeback Player of the Year.
I'm glad they altered the criteria because, like, for a while, like, starting from when Geno Smith won it, like, it turned from what it used to be was, you know, you were injured, you were facing extraordinary obstacles to get back on the field.
Horrible year.
Yeah, it's a congratulations, you came back from sucking.
Well, what's the Giants coach?
Joe Flacco won it last year. And it's like, what did he come back? He came back from everybody thinking he was old.
Jason DeBoll from the Giants.
Yeah, Brian Dable. Yeah,
He won a Coach of the Year twice. It's because you stunk the next year.
Yeah, correct. Yes,
you were really good, then you really stunk, and then you got really good for one more season.
Congratulations, you somewhat resurrected the mess you created.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You made such horrible decisions that year that you can win Coach of the Year next year. No, but Joe Burrow was up for it. What, he got hurt late in the year last year, right? It was his elbow, his hand when he
yeah.
But he's up for Comeback Player of the Year, and then don't get me wrong, he possibly is. He should get consideration as the MVP, but that's not going to happen. We know that.
No, it's good. The MVP is going to be between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson because it has to be a quarterback.
And
it's like the Heisman Trophy.
And then they say, "Oh, the Offensive Player of the Year will be Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry." It's like, what's the difference?
It's like an admission that they know Saquon should be the MVP, but they can't give it to a non-quarterback.
It's the strategy crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it is an NFL-driven league. We get it. We understand that. That's why they protect them. But, you know, and then we talk about it all the time. You've heard me say it 100 times that it's the drop back of quarterbacks that are changing the game. Look at the 3 or 4 that are left. They all can run.
Yeah, sure.
But they're more considered for their passing ability and stuff like that because that's what the NFL wants. That's what the NFL needs because these guys are just as fast as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson's the outlier there because he is probably one of the faster players in the league.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Lamar is
Lamar Jackson.
Do you think he's the closest to Randall Cunningham when he was in his prime, or would you put Michael Vick in that category?
I would
since Randall. Like the thing with Lamar is you go back to Lamar.
Does Lamar have that absolute cannon? Because Vic and Randall just had absolute howitzers, man.
I feel like Lamar is more like Randall. Just to go back, Lamar Jackson when he was in college was a force of nature. I've never seen a player
He's still
like
in
that.
the NFL as a force of nature.
Yeah.
But it just comes to the playoffs.
I feel like
everything compacts a little bit more in the NFL when it's in the playoffs.
He can make more throws like Randall could. Michael Vick, that dude, it was crazy. It was like, he would just flick his wrist. It was like a Dan Marino release, but the ball would go like it was in zero gravity. It's just crazy.
Absolutely, one of my favorite plays in NFL football history is when Crumpler took that ball across the goal line, and Dawkins
and Brian Dawkins destroyed him.
You watch that play; he just throws like a BB down the middle of it. And then if we're speaking about arms, Josh Allen, he's literally running and then throwing the ball across the field 75 yards on the run, and you're like, that's not normal.
The crazy thing to me about Josh Allen, and I think one of the more interesting things in this era of football, is the amount of growth you see from quarterbacks after they get into the league.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the conventional wisdom always used to be, I shouldn't say always, but when you and I were kids, you would see a quarterback get drafted and then sit on the bench for a few years before they would play because the theory was they had to develop. Then we got into this point where it's like, no, we were putting the rookie quarterbacks on the field right away. And the idea was you're basically a finished product. You know, if you get out there and you stink right out of the gate, whatever, you're Kyle Bowler, you're Jason Campbell, you're a finished product or you're not. Now, wasn't Josh Allen was like a 50% completion guy at Wyoming. And I thought that was my concern with him coming in to the pros. Is this guy going to be able to up his completion percentage to the point where he can be a regular NFL starter? And year one, he kind of looked like Wyoming Josh Allen. The transformation he has made from when he was nothing but a gunslinger at Wyoming to where he is now. I mean, it's really impressive growth.
You're
really
in the
impressive.
same boat as me, and I think I've talked to you about this off the air. And maybe with me and my little brother, we talk about it. It's like an NFL player, you're going to see a star in their second year because, this is we're talking about quarterbacks right now. We've not mentioned the most interesting one, and that's Jaden Daniels.
I'm trying not to think about him.
It's scaring living daylights out of me and Booch. There's no doubt. I mean,
No
I've watched that
question.
guy 3 times this year, and I remember saying to myself, this guy is a problem because I have Cowboy fans. I think I was breaking some chops with my Cowboy friends, and
Good
I was
man.
like, and I just sat there and I said, you do realize this Daniels kid is going to be an issue for the next 15 years. So, my theory on the NFL quarterbacks in general, but just NFL players, and that is you have a great rookie year. Like, that's great, especially at the quarterback position. It's what you do in your first offseason.
Yeah.
And that is that like, am I going to go back home and just rip it up with my boys for the next 4 months?
Yeah.
Or are you going to, say, hey, listen, this is my job. I got to get better at this. I got to stay one step ahead of the posse, go to the film work, go out, do the training, do all this and do all that.
Yeah, because you've a great rookie year. The league's coming after you
Absolutely.
the next year.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to say his name, but you just look at Colin Kaepernick. I remember watching that cat play, take that team to the Super Bowl, and I remember sitting there watching the RPO saying, this cat is going to change the game. He is going to absolutely change it. He makes everything happen. I've never seen a quarterback who can run and then throw as well as he could. But then he goes out in the offseason. I don't know what he did, whatever, but it seemed that in year 2 or 3, everybody had caught up to him.
Yeah.
NFL defensive coordinators, they eat NFL quarterbacks. So you literally got to do your all-season work.
Yeah.
And that's not – it is quarterbacks mostly that you see this with. But in general, I mean, we're talking about, Carter on the D-line for the Jalen Carter he had an okay where he took a lot of plays off for his first couple of years, and now he's out there just absolutely hammering people, being the player that everybody thought he was and could be. But he still does take plays off and all that. But he's definitely a guy who they probably went home in the offseason after his first year and partied a little too much, and then it's his 3rd year now, so he's like coming to his own. I think
second
year.
It
is his second year.
Yeah,
maybe his first year he was a little slow. He wasn't exactly what they thought, but we shall see what. And I know we're going to go to break, so yes,
yeah.
we'll go back and talk about.
So
Mr.
we'll hop to a break. Jim Knowles' watch continues. Penn State defensive coordinator spot. Talking conference championship games in the NFL. It's the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show live from Quaker Steak Lube in State College here on 98.7 The Fox. Don't go away. We'll be right
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing and State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
Get up and get going with the Happy Valleys 98.7 The Fox, the Goon and Ironhead.
And welcome everybody back to the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show live from Quaker Steak Lube here in State College. We're on 98.7 The Fox. This is Chris Buchanani filling in for Jeff the Ironhead Byers. He's on the road with the wrestling team in pursuit of another national championship. And I'm here with Keith Goon Conlin, and it's conference championship weekend in the NFL, Goon.
My favorite weekend of
It
football.
is. It's a good time, man, especially if you're an Eagles fan.
My brother tried to convince me that this past weekend was. Now, I want to say something. I'm just going to go off of your X, formerly known as Twitter, comment.
X/Twitter.
The NCAA should have had that game Friday night.
You can't do it like this late in
Day,
it's just crazy.
MLK Day in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that they honored Dr. King, but I mean, if you're going to do something like you really should have had a lot more honoring than that type of thing.
Yeah.
You're in Atlanta. You're in a man's backyard.
This time of year belongs to the NFL.
Yes, and I think
you got to move the calendar so it's you shouldn't have your showcase games feel like an afterthought.
I mean, God.
Did you see it? It drew 22 million viewers, which is really good. I mean, probably makes it the highest rated college football game of the season, but that's fewer than the championship game last year got, which was fewer than the Michigan-Alabama game got in the semifinals last year. So, yeah, I think they need to seriously look at just moving the calendar around a little bit. If they have to, Goon, I think they can at least look at the possibility of shifting the entire regular season 1 week earlier and make week 0 week 1.
Cut a game.
Yeah. Okay.
Make it freaking standard that you got to play 9 conference
games. They're not cutting a game.
Then we got to get on the same page with. Go back to the 11-game schedule.
I'm telling you, man. Like everybody needs more money, not less. They're not cutting that extra regular season game.
I believe it was Feinbaum, and he was saying that the Army-Navy game is a done deal. It's done. You know, we should be playing those opening round playoff games that weekend. Now, I have no problem with giving that 2-week break in between that last game and the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
These kids just played 12 damn games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had two bye weeks. So they got a third bye week. I didn't have a problem with how it was, divvied out, I guess you'd say. I mean, we played New Year's Eve against Boise State?
Correct.
And then the national title game was 19 days later?
Yeah, 2 months later.
Yeah, so they could play that a lot earlier. And I would not mind playing on a weekend. I mean, on a Friday night. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I had some people comment to me, well, like the host city is trying to encourage tourism, blah, blah, blah. Look, not everyone is going to be able to maximize the amount of money they make.
Tourism.
But yeah, exactly.
You get off the plane, you go to the parade, you get a pep rally, you go to a bar, you get hammed up, you cheer your team. What are you going? What sightseeing you're going to do?
I get everybody wants to sit underneath the table and get whatever scraps fall down. At the end of the day, you've got to be making choices that are in the best interest of the sport, and not for nothing, in the best interests of the sport as a television product, because that's where the money's coming from. It's not tourism, it's not ticket sales, it's not licensing, it's any of that.
Yeah.
It's media rights deals. Yeah. And if you're not getting audience because you're playing these games on a random weekday, so for example, you brought up the Fiesta Bowl against Boise State.
New Year's Eve.
That was, at the time it aired, had the fourth highest audience number of any college football game the whole season long. Then Penn State plays Notre Dame. Penn State, Notre Dame. And it gets way lower number. Why? Because it's played on a random Thursday night. It's a work night. It's a school night. It's the first week back from the holiday. And what inflates your audience number is the number of casual viewers you can draw in. And no one who doesn't live and breathe college football is thinking, oh, it's Thursday night, I got to watch a college football game. You can't expect people who are not closely following your sport, who are the ones who come in and really pump up the audience size and make it worth so much money. You can't expect them to go seek it out. You got to put it there and make it easy for them to find. And they're not doing that with the college football playoffs, especially the later rounds, which are the most important games.
It's a work in progress, in my opinion. I think that I hope that they have some flexibility in that.
Yeah.
Maybe changing up how it's voted. Maybe it's changing up how many teams are getting in. Like Ironhead said, let's go to the first 2 weeks at home games type of thing. 16 teams. So you get down to 8, and then that would be Final Four already. So you're going to have the issue already with the bowls. So funny how it's all about the bowls, I mean, they're the ones who didn't get the power for 50 years to allow a playoff.
If you look at the way the bowl system has continued to maintain its power through the BCS, the 4-team and the 12-team playoff era, really, that's the fly in the ointment.
It has to be very, very powerful people who have very, very powerful friends.
Remember, so people went to prison not that long ago because the Fiesta Bowl was basically being used as a money laundering operation.
I mean, think about why in the hell did we not have a 12 or 15 or 16 team playoff for 50 effing years? It's unbelievable to me.
Here's a great example of that. I cracked up at those images of the people in the bright orange blazers in the bowels of Beaver Stadium right after Refresh Off beating SMU, inviting James Franklin to the Orange Bowl. It's guys, you're just part of the playoffs. It's can you imagine Roger Goodell coming down? What did I say? Sorry,
they were in the yellows.
Yeah. Can you imagine Roger Goodell coming and saying to Jeff Lurie, I'm presenting you with your invitation.
Here's your magic ticket to New Orleans.
It's crazy, but each one of these bowls has a nonprofit corporation attached, which for some reason has people who have year-round jobs. There's a lot of money that flows through those nonprofits. A lot of people making big salaries.
That's why they never wanted to let go of the bowl system.
Yeah.
And I thought the bowls this year were great. I mean, the level of play was a little bit down, I'd say, because a lot of guys opting out.
Listen, you just get used to that. Get used to that.
Exactly. I've
been saying for the last couple of years.
I can watch football at any level at any time.
Other than the playoffs, you should not think about the college football postseason as the end of the season you just watched. I think it's really more like the beginning of the next one,
season.
Right? Because you're going to see as many kids who did not play meaningful reps for your team through the regular season that just ended as you are upperclassmen having one last rodeo. I mean, those guys most of them are probably going to opt out going forward.
Talked to Mark Brennan after the game, and I went down and did the Nitwit show with Neil Rudell and him. And he says, they're Penn State guys who are practicing with the team who've been to two bowls. They've been to 2 bowls more than it's been to class at Penn State. They hadn't even started classes, and they were practicing, they went to the Fiesta. These are high school seniors who graduated, who got out early, who are enrolling on January 13th, but they were here as soon as school ended, and they were practicing with the team, and they traveled to the Fiesta Bowl, and then they traveled to the Orange Bowl. So there's a group of guys who literally went to 2 major bowl games before ever attending a class at Penn State.
Did you guys have a lot of early enrollees in your era?
No.
I didn't think so.
I think Norwood was the first guy that they considered a gray shirt.
Okay.
And that's a guy who comes in January.
Yeah, right.
But
right.
that was a holdout. The gray shirt was you're not playing a whole fall. So you graduated in the spring, took the fall off.
Okay.
Enrolled in January. I didn't have any of them when I was playing because we didn't have Prop 48s or anything like that.
Yeah.
But that was considered a gray shirt.
Yeah, I did.
But this new Joe wouldn't allow it. Joe would not take guys right out of high school, like if they're going to like.
Is that right?
Well, he may have at the end, I guess.
He did. Yeah, I mean, look, Joe changed with the times at the end of his career, but when you were playing, I'm saying
never with me. But Joe's thing was, why are we trying to wish your whole your spring semester away to get up and do what you're going to enjoy your time, go play another sport.
Yeah.
You know, that was the thing. It's like
go to prom, go walk at graduation,
go play baseball, go run track, enjoy it. These are the times of your life. You don't want to college is going to be there.
Imagine that. Imagine anyone saying and thinking, talking and thinking that way in 2025. No. Still makes sense to me. I don't know.
It makes sense to us. It makes sense to Nick Saban. And,
no.
And
you know what?
That's why they're done coaching.
You say that now, you're crazy. You don't have the kids' best interests at heart. You know
what, Coach, I'm thinking of watching that game the other day, and no one knows what Notre Dame really paid for that team.
Right.
All we talked about was the $20+ million that Ohio State paid for that team. No one knows what Notre Dame paid for their guys.
Not enough, apparently, because a bunch of their players are in the transfer portal right now.
But you're sitting there, and you have to say to yourself, like, this is literally because this was my fear from last season on. Has always been, I do not want to see Colorado do well because I don't think that Deion Sanders has the player's best interest in his heart. I don't think that. I still don't think that.
Wow. Okay.
And then I thought about Ohio State, and there's a team who spent $20-some million on their team. Mm-hmm. And then all these other teams are going to say, oh, well, if we won a national title, and all these coaches and all these athletic departments are now going to their fan bases and saying, well, look what Ohio State did. And that was a bad precedence to set. It's a horrible precedence to set. Because, again, I go back to what is my issue with the NIL? It ain't the players getting money. I love the players are getting money. I get them all as they can. Give them millions. I don't care. I don't like the fact that it's on the fan. It's not on the university.
Right.
It's not on the conference. It's not on the. It's not on the NCAA. It's costing them zero for the NIL.
I think with revenue sharing,
that's what drives me crazy.
I think with rev share, a lot of that talk is going to go away. There is going to be there's still going to be a thriving NIL market because it's like you got to compensate the stars over and above.
Is the NIL pay for play that we're doing right now?
Well, I mean, so pay for play means a certain thing, but what you're describing, what you're using it to describe, like, yeah, of course, that's still going to go on.
So
yes, of course.
They're just going to get the players. You're just going to get much more money.
The star players are going to, but the problem right now is that if you want to pay your third string left tackle, like quote unquote market value, the only way you can do that is cobble together money from your donor base. Once you can say, all right, look, Joe Schmo, third string left tackle, like, yeah, you're not going to make $3 million like the quarterback because you're the third string left tackle, but your baseline salary, quote unquote, coming via rev share is still going to be tens of thousands of dollars.
So you think that schools will go 100%? 105 players are going to split $22 million.
Even if they don't, even if they don't, the point is that you're not going to have to come. I'm not going to have to see like random accounts on social media saying it's your fault personally, Bucanani, that you didn't give $25 to Happy Valley United.
If we're still giving the NIL money, if we're still giving the players that, they're still going to ask for that money from the fans.
They will, but it's diminishing returns. Because you're going to need your whales, and your whales will be enough. Like my $25 will make no difference in a pool to sustain the top 5% of the roster.
The other issue I have is I don't know what in the hell happened to our society of
and frankly, by the way,
people telling people how to spend their money.
Well, yeah, I hate that too. But by the way, I would much
donors should be given this and give. It's not your right to tell somebody what they should be giving.
I am with you on that. I agree 100%. There are a lot of loudmouth people on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook. They are so quick to spend other people's money.
Absolutely,
cracks me up.
The American way.
But to be fair, like they go to revenue sharing, I'll feel a heck of a lot better about giving my $25 or whatever, like making my NIL donation, if I know that all of that money is being spent to retain our top talent or attract superstars. Like, I don't want to pay a baseline salary to players when the Big Ten Conference is making billions of dollars and none of that is being shared with the players. Once they go to a revenue sharing model, then to me, the pitch for the average fan to, if they so choose, and if you're fortunate enough to be in a position to be able to do it, you want to chip in a little bit for NIL, which is really about going from great to elite or good to great or whatever. Okay, fine. It's a free country. I spend your money that way. That's a much more compelling sales pitch to me.
I think that people are going to say it's on the fans for we need to go out and get $20 million.
Oh, those people can get bent.
Now, with that said, I will say I do. Good to go back what I was saying about Notre Dame, and it was like we don't know what they were paying for their team, and obviously it's not enough because of the amount of guys they have in the transfer portal right now. And that is that I saw that game as, if Notre Dame can go out and win this game, it is for the old school classic football programs. I would put us in that category.
Yeah.
Ohio State, now, to go back to the Kirk Herbstreit, Desmond Howard fight, and I completely agree, and this is what I was training on Tuesday, and that is that I believe that Penn State has gone this route, and that is Ohio State picked up four high-end portal transfers.
Mm-hmm.
They paid them, yes, but they paid their kids that they recruited who had proved themselves and retained them. And I think that is the route that Penn State is going right now.
Yeah.
And I like that. I don't like the mercenary route. I do not like that.
I don't think you can build
who have been on a team for a year or two who are going to get paid because it's their time. I like that. I don't think you can build.
I don't think you can build a championship contender with the mercenary model. I mean, look, SMU managed to pull it off in the ACC, which is a less competitive conference, and with a schedule that was tailor-made for them to do what they did. And then the moment they went up against a team in Penn State with legit championship contending level talent, you saw the results. So yeah, I just don't think you can do it. The other thing I don't think you can do is change the station here from 98.7 to Fox while we take a break.
If you change the station, Goon will show up in your car.
We're going to talk about the Birds. I do want to talk to you about how the Bills can break the curse. Goon, it's the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show live from Quaker Steak and Lube in State College on 98.7 The Fox. Don't go away.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
WFXS, Hunting your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America. 98.7, the Fox State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
Welcome back. Apparently caught Goon off guard there coming out of the break. It's the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show.
Cut my workout short.
We're live from Quaker Steak and Lube in State College. Chris Buccanani filling in for the Ironhead here with the Goon. All right, Goon, I got to ask you about this. So anyone who listens to this show off and on over the years probably heard me filling in and maybe talk about my college roommate, Mark Bryce. He's an Orchard Park, New York native, grew up within eye line of Rich Stadium. Moved right back to Orchard Park after he graduated. So he is as dyed in the wool of Bills fan as you're going to get.
You call him Buffalo Bill.
Yeah. So he called me. Yeah. Please don't.
A little creepy.
That's right in my ear.
Does
by
he
the
have,
way,
does he have a cat? Does he have a dog named Precious up there too?
No.
I love Buffalo.
No, he never asked me to put the lotion on its skin either. But
or gets the hose again.
Yeah. But
Buffalo's a good man.
So he calls me earlier this afternoon at climbing the walls, and he says, "Tell me something good." He said, "But give me a scenario that we can finally break free this time." So I'm challenging you.
Do you think
answer his question.
As climbing the wall because they have won a Super Bowl, the Birds?
No, I don't think that. I know it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So he is in a position that you were not. Well, I mean, I'm not really into it. Super big. Not like you.
No.
But yes, the climbing the wall thing was definitely, you were doing that for years in the Andy Reid era and stuff like that. It meant a lot to us. But yeah. But what do you what's your question?
So answer me the
Give
question.
me a scenario.
Tim, well, first of all, who do you think is going to win the game?
Personal opinion,
because I ain't betting against Patrick Mahomes.
It's the Buffalo Bills time.
Okay.
And it may not even be a game. That's how I feel about this. It's just McDermott. It's Allen's time. I'm telling you, they got it going on. And I'm telling you, I've not been impressed with Kansas City. They have fought tooth and nail to win every one of those games.
That's exactly what I told them. I said, if ever a team has been due,
late, yeah.
But they have I feel like Kansas City's escaped by the skin of their teeth like 12 times this season.
Well, then, what was the Eagles game this year or last year when the guy dropped the touchdown pass? Was that the Birds game or was that last year?
You're talking about against Kansas City?
Yeah.
That was last year.
Okay. Yeah. It was a clear-cut touchdown. It was going to end the game. But I just have that feeling that it's Buffalo's time. It's just like, I think the NFL is finally – I think that they're finally going to – I think that the pushback from the fans has been so much this week about Mahomes and the way the refs treat him. I mean, I cannot watch their games.
You think it goes the opposite way? Maybe they keep the flag in their pocket in a questionable situation. Okay.
Mahomes throws a ball and it's incomplete. He's looking at the ref. Everybody's looking at the ref, waiting for a late hit on the quarterback, a hold downfield, a pass interference. It's every freaking play. And then every time he gets hit, he gets up crying. And it's completely worn so thin on me. That man is the best player in the NFL. There is no doubt, in my opinion, you don't need to act like that. You are already the best player in the league. You're tarnishing your image, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You're getting people to absolutely start hating you with the whole, go back to the Eagles 2 years ago in the Super Bowl when they lost and on the holding play at the end of the game. You're not calling that the whole game, but it was expected to be called because it was against the Chiefs. And it was just like, come on, man. I don't really. And then, you are like me, I like the Buffalo Bills because obviously Sean McDermott, but I also like the Kansas City Chiefs because I'm an Andy Reid fan.
I have nothing against Kansas City. I like Andy Reid. I love Andy.
The Taylor Swift thing is completely been done. It's done. It's over. It's like showing the Pats and Geno's cheesesteaks outside. It's just a lazy take. Is what the NFL does with every time they show an Eagles game, they got to show. It's like when they go to Seattle, they got to show the Seattle Fish Market. It's like every freaking game.
Yes.
And then they got to go to Pat's and Geno's, or they go to the Reading Terminal. And that's
I understand.
I
understand people are sick of the Taylor Swift
Santa Claus.
Yeah,
but the Taylor Swift thing. It's
right.
Yeah, Taylor Swift's in the stands. Who gives a? Who cares? I don't care. Yes, are they trying to bring in the Swifties? But the minute they break up, they're going to hate the NFL.
Well, yeah. So my point about that. Are you giving this team breaks because you like the little pop you get in the ratings from Taylor Swift is on TV?
Absolutely.
Sure. But just like Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs don't need extra calls, the NFL doesn't need an extra pop from their audience. And at one point or another, here's what's going to happen. One of two things. Swifties, who maybe never watched a football game in their lives and started watching the NFL because Taylor Swift was dating Travis Kelce,
correct,
are going to be like, you know what, I kind of like this, and I'm going to keep watching it. And then you're going to keep that part of the audience.
And then Kelce gets divorced, and then
the rest of them, they're not going to, they're not going to tune into Vikings Jaguars at 9 a.m. from Germany. Okay, that's just never going to happen. So don't compromise the fundamental credibility of your product in order to get a small sliver of audience who is never going to stay loyal at the cost of angering and upsetting and alienating your longtime customers. So they shouldn't do it. So I think it is possible. You might be onto something.
Did you ever see
that they just kind of let them play on Sunday, and Mahomes is going to have some pass rusher like Von Miller from Buffalo is going to get a hangnail on him, and he's going to hit the deck, and the flag ain't coming out.
And they
then it'll be, hey, too bad, so sad.
What the hell was I just going to say? Oh, have you ever seen the little video clip of Belichick on the Manning cast?
I've seen many clips of Belichick on the Manning cast.
And they showed Taylor Swift, and all you hear is, and Peyton and Eli just start laughing.
No, I have not seen that.
Very funny.
No, I like Bill.
So do I.
I hope he does. I hope he succeeds at UNC if he actually stays there.
Contract yet?
Yeah, not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. It's a race between Bill Belichick and Jim Knowles. Who's going to sign a contract first?
Man, I still don't.
I know who I'm rooting for.
Why would he sign up for that? He is friends with Nick Saban. You can't tell me he didn't call Nick Saban and be like, "Yo, dude, what's going? Why are you out?"
To get his kid a job.
And that's the thing. He hasn't signed his contract yet. Is that going to be that crazy that he's going to say, well, I'm not going to sign it?
No NFL franchise, except maybe the Raiders, would make a deal where they say, yeah, we'll hire you and then we'll hire your kid. But a college would do that for sure. North Carolina would do that. That's my whole point about UNC. They don't even care. It's a basketball school.
Coach?
It's like found money.
Well, dude, are you reading my mind today? Because I'm honest to God, I'm watching the Pat McAfee show having lunch, and Lombardi's on there.
Yeah, who's like their GM
he's
now,
general
right?
manager of the UN. Do you think what's the coach's North Carolina? Davis, right?
Oh, yeah. Hubert Davis,
okay.
yeah.
He's North Carolina's head basketball coach. Do you think he likes Mike Lombardi and Bill Belichick walking in and then them sitting there saying, like, you bow to me? It's just, I know it's Bill Belichick and Mike Lombardi. I get it. But this is a proven basketball school.
Well, here's they're
going to come in there and start trying to throw their weight around. And Hubert Davis is going to go, whoa, Bubba. You're batting 2 in this lineup here.
It's a really interesting dynamic you raised there, because obviously in that state and at that school, basketball is king.
And will always be king.
Except when you look at what sport moves dollars,
it's football.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But
it's always been that most of the basketball powerhouses did not have a whole lot wrapped up in football.
Who is the most successful team with multiple sports in football, basketball? There's only like 10.
Yeah, I mean, like Ohio State and Michigan.
Sometimes Michigan,
Florida, Oklahoma,
Florida, a couple,
Texas.
Alabama's getting there.
Alabama's been pretty good
sort of a
late.
new one.
Yeah.
I mean, UCLA, I would never put UCLA football up there. In the same breath, I'm not going to put UNC football up there.
No.
It's
although it's funny, UNC football has had like a surprising number of good seasons, but then just like deserts of mediocrity in between them.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Forever. UCLA football has done nothing compared to the basketball program.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
USC basketball. I mean, their football team has obviously been successful in the past, but they're a football school ahead of a basketball school where UCLA is still basketball over. But to sit there and say that the two are compatible, I mean, there's only Texas is one of them. There's only a handful of schools that actually have two dominant.
And you go through all of the schools that we just listed. Is Florida the only one to win a championship in both?
Michigan
won one?
Not in the same year. Is that what you're asking?
No. I'm trying to remember. Michigan did win one back in the
Ramil Robinson won one. Yeah. Who did they beat?
He did. That's just a great God. That is a great poll. Ramil Robinson.
But who did they beat? That's even better.
I just think it's a thing I can't even remember.
TJ Carlissimo's Seton Hall Pirates.
Good Lord. That's right.
With the sharpshooting Andrew Gay from Australia. Yeah, he had the George Michael Ram haircut. Yeah.
So Michigan and Florida.
And Florida have won national titles. I don't think Texas basketball has ever won a national title.
They have not, to my knowledge.
Alabama basketball has never won, but Florida has definitely won. Ohio State has played in finals, but never won a basketball final. But then, there's Kansas. They're an okay football program every once in a while, but they're a basketball school.
Well, I guess way back in the day, Syracuse won a football championship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But we're talking, I mean, you're going way,
and stuff like that.
You're going way back. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but there's not many schools.
Yeah.
But think about Hubert Davis. I mean, you got to bend the knee to Bill Belichick.
He's got to hate it. He's got to hate it.
You got to bend the knee. I get it. But it's also like, yo, dude, this is my world. You're coming into my world because this is my town. This is my school.
Not to mention, don't you feel like those programs will now be both going after the same donors?
Absolutely.
For NIL? Yeah.
It's tough to do both, man.
Yeah.
And I love Mike Rhodes, and I love what he's going to do here at Penn State. I do. I truly, truly, truly do. But again, if Penn State basketball gets really successful, they're going after the same dollars.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. But again, if the university, are they making more money because you have a successful football team and a successful basketball team? Yes, but that's a lot of money that needs to be drawn out of those fans.
I had not thought about the degree to which Bill Belichick and Lombardi coming in there.
Yeah,
they're
going in
infringe on
with
that territory.
Swagger.
Yeah.
And like Bill's going to be a miserable old cuss and this and that. And then if you're like, no. This is not
and the problem with having the job at North Carolina, and every guy since Dean Smith has had to deal with it in his own way, is that even the ones who have won championships, including Roy Williams, by the way.
Roy and Hubert have both won national titles. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. You're still in Dean's shadow.
You're still playing in Dean Smith Domes.
Yeah.
And Dean really didn't win that many.
Yeah, I know it. I know it.
He was the Bo Schembechler. I mean, he definitely got 1 or 2 in the end.
Yeah.
But he won the
We had that
first
one
was
with Jordan. Yep.
And then he won one later, maybe 2. Yeah, but I mean, he really didn't have Bobby Knight had 3, maybe 4?
No. I think he might have had 3. Yeah.
76, 81, and 86, I think.
Sounds about right.
81 wouldn't have been him, though. That was like Never Nervous Purvis Ellison. Yeah, but I mean,
Purvis Ellison, man.
I'm just dropping names, bro.
Yeah, you are. You are dropping names like bombs.
There was a big Puerto Rican dude on Seton Hall, too, back in the day then, too. I cannot remember his name. Huge dude in the middle. Big tank butt.
When you think of PJ Carlissimo, what's the first thing you think of?
Choke slamming.
Getting choked out by Latrell Sprewell.
Speaking of Alabama basketball.
All right, we're going to take a little break here. When we come back, I think we're finally going to talk some Birds. What do you say?
I'm in.
All right.
Birds, Bills.
Eagles, Commanders on the other side of the break. The Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show live from Quaker Steak and Lube in State College on 98.7 The Fox. Stay tuned.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
2 of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
Get up and get going with the Happy Valleys 98.7 The Fox. The Goon and Ironhead.
Welcome back, everybody. We're live at Quaker Steak and Lube here in State College. Come on down and join us. The Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show is live on 98.7 The Fox every Tuesday and Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m. I, of course, am not the Ironhead. He's on the road with the wrestling team. Chris Bucanati filling in here with Keith the Goon Conlin.
A marvelous fill-in.
Thank you. Jim Knowles Watch 2025 continues as James Franklin tries to close the deal on the biggest hire of his career, probably here at Penn State, heading into unquestionably the biggest year of his career. And Goon, I am impressed we've been able to take this long in the program before we got to the best part of the day, which is talking about our Philadelphia Eagles hosting the NFC Championship game this Sunday afternoon. And by the way, you can hear both the NFC and AFC Conference Championship games right here on 98.7 The Fox. And some other exciting announcements about our sports lineup on 98.7 coming up in the near future. I don't think I am authorized or empowered to spill the beans, but do keep it locked right here on the station. We'll have plenty more to say in the very near future.
Well, last to know over here, obviously.
Yeah, I'll have to tell you off the air.
Wow.
But,
holy crap, man.
Okay. Tell me how you're feeling. I'm sick to my stomach. I'm really concerned about this
watching that game last week. The Saturday night game, Redskins and Detroit.
Yep.
And again, I watched Jaden Daniels play 3 times this year, and each game I sat there and said, this guy is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, I sort of was like, I don't know. I think I might want to play Detroit.
With how beat up their defense was, no question.
But that Detroit game would be in Detroit. And with it being in Philadelphia this weekend, obviously weather's not a problem. In Philadelphia or Kansas City, it's 30s and 40s in each place. So it's not going to be a real issue. So I'm okay. I mean, Jaden Daniels is obviously I said he's got ice in his veins, man, because he doesn't seem to get rattled. He's a lot like Jalen Hurts in that way, where you don't see Jalen get too high or too low at times.
Mm-hmm.
Where Jaden Daniels, he's a much better passer than Jalen Hurts. They have better receivers. He has some pretty good damn receivers, but the Eagles got some very, very good damn receivers.
Sure.
So it's going to come down. You're not going to believe this, but it's going to come down to the offensive and defensive line play. We can run the ball because that's their Achilles heel. Is they cannot stop the run. And if we can go out there with our mutant offensive line and tight ends and go out there, establish the run, and just control the tempo of that game, do not give him the ball.
And if Kellen Moore can keep his head in the game and not try to force long downfield throws on downs that should just be handoffs to Saquon Barkley.
Yes, and just get him involved early and often, and you would be just amazed at how much the middle of the field opens up when you have a strong run game. All you do is watch the Rams game.
Yeah.
They're playing one safety deep because they had to get pressure up front. And once you beat Johnny Carter in the Rose Bowl in 1995, you get past that first line of all the blitzing, they're going to run blitz at you. You get past that first guy. That one guy does not make that tackle. That the safety makes a bad angle. Gone.
And there's not a better offensive line in the league to get it back to the second level than Philadelphia's.
Absolutely
and there's not a running back who's more dangerous once he hits the second level than Saquon Barkley. It's a marriage made in heaven.
Thank you.
No question about it.
They need to really, really get that run game going early, get it revved up. It's going to do one. I mean, I was happy to see Jalen Hurts make that run early in the game the other day. That changed the complexion of that game because it was like, okay, they need to worry about him, and that's going to open up things for Saquon.
I mean, the question is how much of that we're going to see with him having sustained the knee injury late in the game last week.
Get tackled in some weird ways, does he not?
It was just that's the thing that's so frustrating about it. Like, you wish you could get angry, but it was just sort of like a freak chance the way he came down. Hopefully,
just like the concussion he got late in the year. It was just like a freak hit, and it was like, thank God that umpire saw that, because he was not going to come out of that game. That umpire looked at his eyes, and he was gone, dude.
Yeah.
So they just showed on the Eagles-Redskins game up there on television. They're throwing a repeat of that Monday or Sunday night game, the last one. And they showed Josh Harris, the owner of the Sixers, who owns the Washington Redskins, and he owns the New Jersey Devils. I don't like
the owner of the Sixers, as they have their worst season in a decade, leading his team to victory in Philly in the conference championship game, to me seems just about right. I'm picking the Commanders in this one. I think it's going to be Washington, Kansas City in the Super Bowl.
Oh my God, Alan, you're filling in next week. Booch is out. He's done. He just got kicked off the air. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you just doing this reverse psychology crap?
If I were, I wouldn't admit it on the air.
Oh my goodness gracious! Do you really think that the Eagles defense is going to get? I mean,
I'm going to give you 3 games. Okay, Atlanta.
Dropped pass by Saquon Barkley would have ended the game.
Okay, great. And you know what else?
Smith ended this game.
You know what else? You know what else would have ended the game?
The Queen had. What?
Yes, this is what. You know what else would have ended both of those games? If our supposed star-studded all-pro defense could play like a defense instead of letting a mediocre offense march the length of the field in like 5 seconds.
Okay.
Like that would have ended the game too. Instead, they crumbled at the worst possible moment. And you know what? They damn near did it again in the divisional round.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to tell me that Jaden Daniels, who does have ice water in his veins,
how good he
thrown
is.
to Terry McLaurin, and by the way, De'Ami Brown, talking about North Carolina football, who has really blossomed this year as a true number 2 for them, and Brian Robinson, the running back, who excelled for Alabama in the national championship game and then came back from being shot.
They threw Dotson away. The Redskins did.
Yeah. I think
Commanders, whatever the hell they are.
It's fine, whatever.
The commies.
I think that.
They just threw Dotson to the curb because it was like, we don't need him.
Yeah.
Zacharias is the other guy, the other receiver.
Yeah, another guy who wants to come back and stick it to Philly. So and don't forget Zach Ertz. I think this is, given the moments of collapse we have seen, rare but troubling from our defense.
I got something to tell you.
I'm not feeling it.
It is absolutely hilarious, and the more I think about it, it's true. I'm watching the Saturday night game with my younger brother. My family was up last week, and we had 5 of us up. It was so cool. We had a great time. My little brother, Puppy, says, Zach Ertz is the man with 0 yak yards in his career. And I'm like, what? And he goes, think about it. He's always making catches, diving, falling, this and that, or instantly tackled. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
And I watch him play, and then I go back.
That's hilarious.
I rewind all the plays I remember him making and I'm like, dude, it's so right.
You know what? I'll take it.
So watch this weekend. Hopefully there's no yak. Hopefully there's no catches.
Absolutely.
But, I don't think Ertz is. He went to Arizona. He got traded to Arizona.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And then he got picked up free agent by Washington or
correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So I don't think there's any bad blood there. I mean,
no, it's not.
What's going to happen when the Eagles move up in the draft this year and draft Tyler Warren?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, no, Olamide Zaccheaus has bad blood. Zach Ertz has no bad blood at all, but the guy's a competitor.
Sure he is.
And it's going to mean something more to him, frankly, to be able to make plays at the link.
We just hope Julie's there and she's okay. Ertz.
Yeah.
His wife.
I understand that. I mean, I'm sure she will be.
I know. Just hope she's okay. Smoke show. Women's soccer player.
Yeah, I know who Julie Ertz is.
That's why I like Zach Ertz.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Fine. Sure. That makes sense.
Yes, very much so.
Most professional athletes do not have unattractive spouses.
What? Yes, they do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of swag wags out there.
Keep telling yourself that.
Hey, Mr. Commodore's Chiefs fan. We're literally going head to head right now.
Correct.
On both games.
I am being pessimistic on the Eagles and their defense. Now, I just think I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. Nothing.
A 12-pack of beer?
I'm not going to bet against the Eagles.
Wing. You just made it. Yeah. How can you be a homer and not pick the Eagles?
I mean, certainly it may or may not have been.
You to say it on air that you're just doing this on purpose.
If I were, then the wish wouldn't come true.
Oh man. If you told somebody your wish, it's not going to come true, right? Yeah.
I really do. I do not like the matchups, though, man. I hate them. I
truly think that the Eagles-Commodores game is going to be a lot closer than the Buffalo Bills-Kansas City Chiefs game. I do. And I think it's the Bills' time. I think they're just going to go out there and be sharp as hell. And I think that the Chiefs are going to squat. I mean, they got outgained by the Houston Texans in that game. They had more turnovers than the Texans. Did they have turnovers? No. They had the Texans had 100+ more yards than them, and had the time of possession was unbelievable. But it was just bad penalties, i.e., thank you, Mr. Referees, and they just didn't make plays, and they turned the ball over. So I mean, Houston outplayed Kansas City. The Buffalo Bills are not the Houston Texans. I think Buffalo goes in there, waxes them.
They did beat them in the regular season, and to be fair, I mean, I understand it's a totally different animal in the playoffs.
This is Josh Allen's year, bud.
What I said, one of the other things I told my roommate when he called me was I said exactly what you said. Kansas City has been escaping like
every game,
like Indiana Jones getting
like,
away from that boulder. Like it's like eventually the boulder is going
to. You're like, okay, I think that they're just playing down because they're trying to save themselves for the playoff run. That's how it seems like the Kansas City Chiefs played almost the last 2 years.
They were like that last year. I said they definitely have a little bit of 98 Bulls about them.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
you know what? We're going to get through the regular season. We'll turn it on when we need to. Yeah.
Yep. They're not the 70-12 Bulls.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that team, right, they proved that they were the very best. And then they did what they needed to do in the regular season and turned it on when they had to, as they got a little bit older, just like this Kansas City team has.
Absolutely.
The other thing I said about the regular season matchup of Buffalo versus Kansas City is I said if you look at the games in which Kansas City has managed to escape, they've improved their defense. They're way more physical on defense now than they were in years past.
Bills.
The Chiefs.
Yes.
They've gotten better and better defensively. But they haven't really faced a whole lot of high-powered offenses. And I said the Bills in that game, part of the reason that they won was their offense was able to dictate to Kansas City. And if you look at the confidence they're playing with right now, not to mention the fact that game last week, those are exactly the kind of games that always go against Buffalo.
Sure do.
They always have those go the other way.
Yep.
And I said, now you got a little bit of mojo behind you.
Buddy.
Yeah, I said, you know, that's it.
I will say this. Buffalo played a very physical game against the Ravens.
Yeah.
So that
they're in for another one. I don't
think the Chiefs are as physical as
Baltimore. No.
Baltimore. I mean, they make their name, and they base their, but that's their thing, and they're going to come up there and try and bully and intimidate you.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo wasn't having any of it.
Yep.
That's not getting us wrong now. Baltimore, that game should have been an overtime.
Yes.
I mean, Mark Andrews, are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Let me say this, though. Everybody's like, oh, that's overtime. It's like, no, that's a tie game with a minute and a half left and Josh Allen getting the ball.
Kicking a field goal is what they need.
Yeah.
So, yes. And, I was watching the Birds game last week when it was like, I'm like, just, if they're going to let us score up, let it go. Like, keep some time on the freaking clock.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Elliott better get his foot out of his, you know what.
I do like what
on all season, bro.
I like what Nick Sirianni said, because you're not going to throw your guy under the bus in public. And somebody asked him about the missed extra points, and he said, yeah, but on the other hand, you can look at it and say, after you miss those kicks, you also make 3 clutch field goals in bad weather. And I mean, it's a fair point. Jaco misses any of those kicks, and we're done.
That was actually hilarious watching those guys on the ground, and you couldn't use any kind of towel or any kind of that rule that only people on the field can clear the kicking area off. So the offensive linemen are all
not like back in the day when the Patriots brought the little caterpillar out. Yeah,
he was on work release from prison. When he came out there, he's doing a line and went like this. Yes. So yes, huge 3 kicks in that weather, and it was obviously we could tell. I mean, you could tell how easy it was to slip on that field last week.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a puddle, not a puddle, but a frozen mess out there. Slop. So he makes 3 field goals in, very, very tough. But the extra points, obviously. I think at that point I was coming out of the bathroom and Carrie was like, I watched Saquon's run. I was loving it. And I come back and she's like, he missed the extra point. I said, what? And all I could see was the Rams winning by 1.
Yep.
That's all I could see.
It still turns my stomach.
Is that why you're picking against the Eagles?
Because of the fact that they played that way and put themselves in a position to lose that game on one play.
Pittsburgh, bud.
I'm going to take a break here on the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We'll see if Goon murders me during the break. If he does, it's been a pleasure being part of this show and talking to you, the listening audience. If not, I will see you on the other side.
I'll do your eulogy next week. I said he picked the Birds and he picked the Bills. He's right. He picked the Chiefs and the Commodores.
The Lion Country Kia, the Commanders. Lion Country Kia, Goon and Ironhead show live from Quaker Steak Lube on 98.7 The Fox.
Never be the Commanders.
We'll be right back.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
Get up and get going with the Happy Valleys 98.7 The Fox. The Goon and Ironhead.
Hello. Whoa, that one crept up on us as well.
Go.
It happens. Yeah, it's the Lion Country Kia
choking you.
Goon and Ironhead show here on 98.7 The Fox. We're live at Quaker Steak and Lube in State College. A great place to come out, hang out, watch the game, enjoy an adult bev, have the best selection of wing, sauces, and dry rubs in the Nittany Valley. And they've got some of, if not the best, service of any restaurant or bar in the area. And I'm not just saying that because we're here. Just really remarkable job. The consistency they have been able to maintain prior to, during, and after COVID. Yes?
That's a big word in my world right there, buddy.
Consistency?
When it comes to restaurants,
that's my dude, I'm with you.
Key.
Because you want to feel like you know what you're getting, right? Especially if you're going to make a recommendation. Hey, go check this place out. Meet me there.
I got to give a shout out here because it's a great wing bar, but it has a lot of great different food in the menu. But I also say this: when I go to Champs and they order their arrogant and obnoxious wings, same wing I got in 1993.
Yep.
It's the same taste, the same texture.
Consistency.
It's consistency. That's all you ask for in a restaurant.
Yep.
And how many restaurants do you go to and it's like, it changes week by week of who's cooking and how you're going to get it, and that just drives me absolutely bonkers about restaurants.
I'll tell you
That's
what,
why
I feel
love
like
the Lube.
A lot of the places around here, no shade.
I
but
will say, coldest beer in town, coldest draft beer in town.
Duff
By
extra
far.
cold,
by far.
A lot of places around where we are, in our hometown, Goon.
Wait, this hometown or hometown?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about Steakhouse.
Okay, all right.
I feel like
a West End guy.
Every time you come out, every time you go out to some of the restaurants around here, especially post-COVID, your server is on their first day, and they got half the restaurant. And the fact that you can come out here to the Lube, and it is just like you've got somebody who's been here, who knows what they're doing, is going to take good care of you, man. Don't sleep on it. It's a big advantage. So we're happy to be here, and we hope you'll come out and join us. So,
big deal.
Goon, we got about 15 minutes left in the program. You've already chastised me for picking against the Eagles. I guess I watched I watched too many Andy Reid teams blow it in Philadelphia in the conference championship game.
I watched too many
still scarred.
Marv Levy Buffalo Bills teams. I don't know. Maybe it's wishful thinking.
Look, man, I am not picking against Patrick Mahomes.
You know
until he loses.
We got Philadelphia and Buffalo.
Yeah,
I can't lose that game. With my history of McDermott being a little Sal guy.
Look,
I'm going to win there, no matter
what. Straight up, if the Bills win a Super Bowl, I would be happy for them. If it has to come at the expense of the Eagles, I will be very, very sad, but less sad than I would be if Philly lost to anyone else.
It would be what, a fourth Super Bowl loss if they would lose the Super Bowl?
Fifth.
Loss?
Oh, you're talking about Philly? No, it'd be four for us.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yep. But we have one. That's the difference, man. Once you got that ring, it's just
get the arms back. Look at you.
Yeah,
the
old
dude should be climbing walls right now, like Buffalo Bill.
Look, the other thing too is Penn State pretty much sapped my emotional reservoir for football this year. So like the Eagles, it's like okay.
All right, you weren't on the show Tuesday.
Yeah,
we compete with that Ohio State team Monday night.
We could compete with them. I don't think we would have beaten them.
Would have been very similar to what Notre Dame went out there and did.
I thought one of the things that I thought was very odd was some of the commentary after the game that Notre Dame didn't belong in the game. They don't look. Will Howard overthrows that pass.
Don't say because the SEC deserved to be in it. Is that what you mean?
No. They were just generally, and maybe it was people who only watched the first half of the game, but there were people who were saying like, typical Notre Dame gets into a big game and just gets their doors blown off. Will Howard misses that pass to Jeremiah Smith at the end of the game. Notre Dame's going to get the ball back with a chance to tie it.
And if they I don't know why they tried to go for that field goal when they were down 15 points.
That was an absurd call.
What were you even thinking?
Yeah, that was insanity.
It was dumb, and the even worse part is that they missed the kick.
Yeah, that was big Pat Narduzzi energy. I mean, like, really, it's baffling to me for all the praise that's been justifiably heaped on Freeman. Like,
literally on the fake punt, when the quarterback is running off the field, yelling at the coach, and the coach goes, "You see him do this," and then Leonard went. He told him. I told Kerry, I said, "Here, they're going to fake this because he's complaining,ing, and all of a sudden, he goes, oh, okay,
yeah."
And then they try to run that fake, and then the guy drops the ball because you have a punter, a kicker.
I love Marcus Freeman, man. I really do, but I do kind of like. I think his eyes got a little big in the spotlight.
Yep, a little bit.
He coached so well and so under control against Penn State.
Would we have done better against Ohio State in that game than Notre Dame did?
I think so. I think we would have been.
I think we would have first 9-minute drive of that game. And Notre Dame went down 18 plays down the field. I said, oh, God. So I want to go back to an earlier point. Now we're talking about the money versus this and that. And I just thought, like, Notre Dame guys were playing for the glory of their team. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That type of feeling. That was like the good versus bad. Like, okay, we can still win this old school way versus Ohio State, who, they're going to buy a title type of thing. That's the way I looked into that game, and I could not believe what they did in that first series of that game. Now, credit Ohio State. They buckled down on defense. I mean, they had a little bit of nerves going right there. And, I mean, I had many friends sit there say that Riley Leonard gassed himself in that first drive.
I really think there's a lot to that.
9 runs, and he was gassed. And I'm like, okay, dude, like, what's going on there? Like, you got to come out of that a little bit. But they couldn't stop Ohio State. They couldn't. The only people who would stop Ohio State was Ohio State when they screwed up.
I respect Riley Leonard as a player. I think he had a really nice college career. He was a notch below where you need your starter to be to win a national championship, especially if you don't have a ton of playmaking ability in your receiver core, which Greathouse is. I mean, that guy's got a clutch gene for sure. And I mean, the build to be an
clutch
NFL receiver
is a great call because he made big plays and big time.
Yeah.
But he was not there the whole time.
And he's not somebody that you're going to scheme around.
And another one I found
Ohio State's got 3 of those guys.
The other one I found interesting was the referees calling Ohio State's defensive backs for being handsy. Finally, they played the whole freaking season playing like that, very physical defensive backs. And I'm the one guy looking up at the crowd and going, that's a crap. I mean, he was mauling the receiver. I don't even understand how he could even watch that and say, oh, that's a bad call, but whatever. So I just, I wanted to get that thought out of you of what you thought we would. What do you think we would?
I think the way Penn State was running the ball in the postseason, I think we would have given them real problems at the point of attack. And, I think that could have helped keep us in the game. I think our defense was playing so well.
Yep.
But, look, I think that at this point it's just cope. I'm just going to tell myself that we wouldn't have won the game because the way we coughed up that Orange Bowl is, I mean, it was gross. Drew and the whole team and staff are going to have to sit with that in the pit of their stomach for 8 months. And it's like I've just been saying, and I said from the moment it happened, you spilled milk now. The only thing you have left under your control is, does it make me or does it break me? That's it. And they've got 8 months to figure it out. And hopefully Jim Knowles can help.
Have I given you my comparison?
I'd like to hear it.
85 Orange Bowl, John Schaefer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the comparison.
Were you the one who wrote that on X, Twitter?
What's that?
That it's eerily reminiscent of
I don't know. I've said that like 6 different places, so I can't remember.
Well,
maybe,
I just feel as if like, as soon as you watch it, he's an Ohio kid. He didn't have a great Yak. He didn't have a great game.
Yak Ertz
we have a lot
0
of guys
yards
to the
after
back,
catch.
and they're saying the right thing, and that is we got to run this thing back. I mean, there was some guy who came out today and ranked Penn State as number 1 in the country.
So Joel Klatt
historically, I mean not historically, but they're an overwhelming top 6 to 8 team.
Yeah,
some top 5.
Joel Klatt and Stuart Mandel both have us number 1 right now.
With what you got coming back and how we ended that season, I'm sorry, man. You could possibly run behind this offensive line. We're going to lose Tyler Warren, but we already have a pretty damn good stocked tight end room. The only upgrade it was needed is wide receiver, and any upgrade is not going to be that hard to get, in my opinion, and your opinion also.
Yep.
So, make some plays. I still can't believe we played a college football game and our wide receivers still didn't have 1 catch. It's just still mind-boggling that happened. Well, just completely mind-boggling.
I can't remember if I was saying this with you or someone else. The last time Penn State had a game where they had 0 wide receiver catches for the whole game was the 2004 season. And what did Joe go out and do in one offseason? Totally overhauled the receiving corps.
Derek Williams, Deion Butler, Jordan
Norwood, Ethan Kilmer.
Keep going.
And Justin King
played wide receiver, and so did
Lydell Sargent played receiver as well.
Lydell Sarge played a little wide receiver action there too, and that was a needed position, and they went out and got it. So,
and Joe used the avenues that were available to him in 2005, and we're using what is a much easier way to do it, which is just go buy talent out of the transfer portal.
I think that I saw that Derek Williams and Derek Williams and Justin King. Did I say Derek Williams and Justin King both said when Ron Zook got fired from Florida is that's when they turned their allegiance.
Which is wild to think of.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that it was that close. That completely changes everything about the history of the program.
The old Zooker coming out for us. The Zooker, baby.
Of all things.
You never want to be the man replacing the man. You want to be the man replacing the man who replaced the man.
Poor Ron Zook that season caught Penn State on homecoming right after the loss to Michigan, and I think Tom Bahali damn near killed his quarterback.
And I remember I was there. I do remember sitting there watching that game, and it just reminded me of '94. It was.
I talked to Tom Bahali about that game, and I asked him. I said, "What did you think about that?" And he said, "Do you want honestly?" He said, "I got up and I said a prayer for that guy
because he never went down. He hit him and never followed through."
Tom Bahali said,
"Could have taken him."
You're
down
right. He didn't get up. He walked
Smith.
away from it. Yeah.
Remember Troy Smith?
Yep.
When he hit him from behind, he could have wailed on him like that. He would have possibly ended that boy's life.
For real. He said, "I said a prayer for the guy." He said, "I thought I might have." I mean, I don't think he literally thought he killed him the way Chuck Badnarik thought he killed Frank Gifford.
Well, that's not a bad thing. Frank was so banged up he married Kathy Lee. I mean, there's a problem. There's consequences to actions.
Okay, you know what always happens when I sit in for the Ironhead on this show? You and I have some kind of wild digression.
We go ADD.
We haven't done it yet today. Let's do it right now. The last couple minutes of the show.
Whoa.
I saw a crazy thread on X/Twitter last night. It's messing with my mind, Goon. I really need to go and do some more research about this. This is some baseball historian guy who was going point by point through everything I thought was true about Ty Cobb. That he was like a jerk and a racist, and he used to fight with guys all the time, and all his contemporaries hated him, and he sharpened his spikes, and he hurt dudes, and he put them in the hospital. This guy's contention is that is all fake, that it is all the result of a biographer who wrote about Ty Cobb after his death, who was since disgraced because he was found to have just completely fabricated all kinds of stories, not just about Ty Cobb, but about everything that he wrote about. And so those stories caught hold. And, it's like back in the day when there's just a few different media outlets. And for years and years, these stories have perpetuated. They were in the movie with Tommy Lee Jones. And this guy's contention is that it's all fake. Everything you think you know about Ty Cobb was just all made up.
Arliss was the reporter in that movie. Robert
Yes, exactly.
Was that the guy who wrote the
I don't know. Maybe.
Because if you remember in the movie, then they went to a party in the room, and the guys were like, "We don't want Ty here. We didn't like him when he played."
Apparently,
the corn, Field of Dreams.
Yeah,
when Ray Liotta says, Cobb even wanted to play.
We all hated him when he was alive.
We'll play when we're dead.
Apparently, there's one person who's saying that's all fake, all of it.
Whoa, Tommy Lee, that was an unbelievable movie because it was like that guy's. Woof.
That is just wild to me. If
and
that's
that is
true.
A far, quick right turn you just made there.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow. I mean, the hands on the guy with no arms beating up a guy in the crowd with hooks on his hands because he lost his arms in the war is what the story is, I heard.
I am trying to think about what were we talking about that made me think of Ty Cobb?
Because you said we didn't digress, we didn't go far right or left or whatever.
You said something that made me think about. Oh, you know what it was? It was
Zach
about no. You mentioned Frank Gifford, and I was just thinking about people who have who played back in the day and who have kind of a reputation, but was built in a time when there were 2 or 3 media outlets, and it's what do we know? And then that made me think about man, it's just crazy. I spent my whole life as a sports fan thinking the one thing like Ty Cobb, that guy was a complete jerk. It could be totally made up. That's crazy to me. A guy like fake news, Goon.
Brett Favre, they were like, he harkens back to the plays of Kenny Stabler and those type of guys. If a guy came out of the league right now and he's just a swashbuckler smoking and drinking and doing this and is a womanizer, he would be so chastised in this world. Jalen Hurts has zero personality.
Yep.
I'm sure outside of football, he is a wonderful person, but he's
like a robot in a press conference.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that drives you absolutely nuts because you're like, I want to see personality, but when you show personality, that's when they attack you.
Goon, I got to get us out of here. The Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We're Quaker Steak and Lube here in State College. Come on out. Again, I'm going to give you the last word, and the last word is...
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
And Bills.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
WFXS, hunting gas.
Your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox State College. The Goon